The Moscow Watchdog is a breed of dog that was bred in the Soviet Union. It descends from crosses between the Saint Bernard and Caucasian Shepherd Dog. It contains the physical size, attractiveness, and intelligence of a Saint Bernard and the awareness and assertive traits of a Caucasian Shepherd Dog. Moscow guard dogs are professional guards, self-sufficient leaders and fearless defenders capable of turning an attacker to flight by sheer appearance. Serious and incorruptible, they will never leave their office and will guard the object entrusted to them to the last. At the same time, in an informal setting, Muscovites are easily transformed into calm, unassuming pets who know how to get along with children and willingly join any game. Highlights: having a developed protective instinct, Muscovites nevertheless do not start from a half-turn, which is very different from their closest relatives, the Caucasian Shepherd Dogs. Moscow guard dogs feel good in families. Children and pets do not irritate them. Distinctive character traits of the Moscow Watchdog are slight stubbornness and a tendency to dominate, so an adult mentor should be involved in training the animal. The Moscow Watchdog is not included in the list of the most pop breeds of our time, which will be especially pleasant for those who value originality in everything and are looking for an unusual four-legged friend for themselves. An animal of such an outstanding build will be uncomfortable in a typical apartment, although a properly educated Moscow Watchdog will do everything possible to take up as little space as possible and not annoy the owner with its own awkwardness. The Moscow Watchdog is a working, unpretentious dog. She copes relatively well with loneliness, does not take offense for any reason and easily adapts, even to not the most favorable weather conditions. The maintenance of the breed is not cheap already because such a large-sized dog needs many times more food than any shepherd dog. Accordingly, if you need a little pet, give up the dream of a Moscow Watchdog. The history of the origin of the Moscow Watchdogs. The origin of the breed is not associated with any beautiful legend, as is often the case with other exotic breeds. The Moscow Watchdog was brought out in the middle of the last century by special order of state bodies to restore the population of unpretentious service dogs. After the end of the Second World War, this became an especially urgent problem. The breed was bred on the territory of the Krasnaya Zvezda kennel in the Moscow region. Particular attention was paid not only to the external indicators of the new breed but also to the service characteristics, the tendency to train. Thanks to the crossing of Saint Bernard, Caucasian Shepherd, Russian Pied Hound, which possessed the qualities necessary for the new breed, a powerful, well-trained, unpretentious Moscow Watchdog was bred. Muscovites have surpassed their own genetic ancestors in size. The young breed was larger and more active than the Saint Bernards. Power and excellent watchdog qualities were borrowed from the Caucasian, but Muscovites are more obedient and less aggressive. Interesting fact, the breed was adopted in the USSR in 1985, its exterior was officially approved. Later, several adjustments were made to the breed, but some of them were considered unsuccessful. Changes have been made to previously approved standards, which is considered normal when working on a new breed of dog. The latest standard has been in effect since 2008. Today these animals are used to guard many public and private objects and are used in hunting. Families have Moscow Watchdogs as a pet, a reliable friend, companion. Moscow Watchdog. Breed description. Muscovite is a large, mobile dog. According to the current standard, the animal must meet the following requirements. The body is voluminous, slightly stretched. The back is straight, wide. The belly is slightly tucked up, the withers are high, the chest is powerful and wide, the legs are straight, and the large paws are oval. The tail is long and thick, the head is large, the ears are drooping and small. The eyes are often dark in color and rounded, set wide apart. The muzzle is wide, the nose is large, painted black. The jaws of Muscovites are very massive, the teeth are strong and wide. The scissor bite provides a dead grip. The growth of mature individuals is from 66 to 70 centimeters, weight is from 46 to 55 kilograms. The constitution of males is more overweight. Bitches are graceful, their weight and size are significantly inferior to males. An interesting fact is that there is no upper limit on the height and weight of the Moscow Watchdog. The Moscow Watchdog is a fearless animal, an ideal bodyguard and watchman. He is able to engage in battle with several opponents at once, even if they are superior in strength. The dog will be endlessly devoted to its owner and household under any circumstances. The watchdog obeys all family members equally, she has no favorites. The dog is always patient with children, but it can accidentally push during the game, so you cannot leave them alone with the kids. A Muscovite treats outsiders with distrust, closely monitors the slightest movement and attacks only in the presence of open aggression. The animal barks only on business. If he finds himself on the street and meets other dogs, he treats them indifferently. Popular colors of Moscow Watchdogs. The coat of Muscovites is thick and long, tightly attached to the skin. Males have especially thick hair, a mane is observed on the neck, and feathering on the legs. The hairs are double, consisting of guard hairs and a thick undercoat. Thanks to its well-developed undercoat, the Watchman can survive even very severe frosts. It is this characteristic feature of the breed that made the Moscow Watchdog an ideal guard for special territories and objects, since it does not require a specially equipped, heated aviary. Bitches have a more modest hairline than males. Interesting fact, the color of the animal's coat can be spotted, reddish peebled. If the dog is spotted, then the spots can be red, sable, black. The presence of a red color is a prerequisite, as well as the presence of a white color on the chest, limbs, and the tip of a long tail. Experts give preference to individuals with a dark mask, dark ears and glasses, which must be symmetrical. If there is no red color, then this color is recognized as non-standard. Puppies with this color are less valuable. The animal's hair requires regular careful care, otherwise, in a fairly short time, it will collapse into dense tangles, which will be impossible to comb, and the dog will lose its spectacular appearance and will be untidy. The coat should be brushed thoroughly, at least once a week, especially during shedding. There is often no need to bathe, one bathing for 3 months is enough, but with the obligatory preliminary combing. The nature and habits of the Moscow Watchdogs. A Muscovite, with the right upbringing, will have a submissive character and always obey his master, but such a watchdog is not suitable for everyone. Weak people will not be able to raise a full-fledged friend and companion. The dog feels insecurity and too soft a person's character and, most likely, will not obey him, will try to dominate him. If the owner treats the pet too harshly, then the dog will grow up cowardly. Only a confident person with a firm, but not cruel character is able to grow up from a Moscow Watchdog as a true friend, a reliable guard. The watchdog has a balanced character, loves to play with the household. If the dog notices the slightest threat to his loved ones, then he quickly becomes agitated and can become aggressive. For his dog takes only those whom he knew from childhood. To other dogs that live with them in the same territory, he is indulgent. Interesting fact, a proud giant will never run after a cat or even bark in its direction, but on the contrary, can protect it from its other relatives. Going outside the house, the Moscow Watchdog immediately becomes an attentive guard. It should be remembered that, despite the dog's benevolent attitude towards household members, towards other people's animals, people, including children, it can show aggression. Muscovites are attacking swiftly, without warning barking. They should be walked only in places where there are no crowds of people, use a leash and a reliable muzzle. The shaggy giant's leap is very sensitive, he hears everything that happens in the protected area and is always ready to attack. Interesting facts about the Moscow Watchdogs. The colorful appearance of Muscovites is the merit of Orslin, a dog who is considered the true ancestor of the breed and was born in the 60s of the last century. The first representatives of the breed were not very effective. At first glance, these dogs seem to be clumsy bears, but in the event of a threat, they instantly transform. It should be noted that having a highly developed protective instinct, the watchmen never start from a half-turn, like the Caucasian Shepherd Dogs, but first analyze the situation. A distinctive character trait is a slight stubbornness, a tendency to dominate. Given these features, only an adult should be engaged in education and training. This breed does not differ in excessive touchiness, like the alibi, but it is impossible to humiliate and beat them, since in this case the psyche of the animal may be disturbed. It will be very uncomfortable for this large creature to live in an apartment, especially in a small one. Despite this, the dog will try to take up as little space as possible and not bother the owner with its clumsiness in a confined space. Some owners of Moscow Watchdogs are so close to their pets that they bring them up a real nanny for their children. Dogs ride babies on sleds, allow them to climb on their backs, patiently relate to various pranks of children in relation to themselves. Experts are unanimous in their opinion that even the most friendly dog cannot be completely trusted. Constant visual control is necessary to intervene in time and avoid a dangerous situation. Pros and cons of Moscow Watchdogs. Like any breed of dog, the Moscow Watchdog has its pros and cons, which you should definitely familiarize yourself with before getting a puppy. Let's start with the advantages of the Moscow Watchdog breed. Muscovites are easy to learn, and it is not always necessary to consult a specialist. The dog is capable of being a watchman, bodyguard, companion. The animal easily gets along with any pets, easily finds a common language with household members of all ages. The watchdog does not have her idols, she obeys all family members. The dog does not give in to provocations of other animals during walks. The breed is ideal for keeping in an aviary in all weather conditions. The dog is quite unpretentious in care, it has well experienced temporary loneliness. The Moscow Watchdog has a very loud and menacing barking, but it only barks strictly on business. Basically, this is a quiet animal, which can only snore occasionally during sleep. This breed also has disadvantages. An animal needs a sufficiently large amount of food rich in vitamins for it to develop and reach the required size and mass. Dogs do not tolerate limited space, they need space, and for healthy development, regular walks, physical activity. Muscovites are subject to very strong molting. Like any animal, the Moscow Watchdog should not be turned on because of the banal whim of the owner or the child. This is a living being, and if there is no way to provide normal conditions for its life, then it is impossible to have a puppy, so it will not be able to live the full life of a healthy dog. Taking care of the Moscow Watchdogs. If the dog lives in an apartment, then its hygiene should be monitored especially carefully. It is necessary to monitor the cleanliness of the pet's litter. During molting, it is daily cleaned from wool. The bedding is thoroughly washed once every 1 to 2 weeks. Having settled the watchdog in an apartment or household, you must immediately stock up on special combs, brushes and furminator, since the animal sheds regularly and very abundantly. From the first month of life, puppies are taught to daily thorough combing. With this approach, the puppy will not get nervous when combing the coat, growling at its owner. The diet of a Muscovite is lean meat or offal, various cereals, including rice, buckwheat, oatmeal, various vegetables, large fish, fermented milk products, but with a low fat content. Overfeeding for this breed is very dangerous. With a low level of physical activity, obesity, joint damage, and diabetes develop very quickly. If you have doubts about the correct choice of food or pet diet, it is better to consult a specialist. Diseases and health problems. The Moscow Watchdog is in good health and, with good care, can live to be 11 to 13 years old. Like all large dogs, the Muscovite has a predisposition to a number of joint diseases. In addition, there is a tendency to heart failure, various skin diseases, volvulus with excessive feeding. Poor nutrition in combination with low physical activity leads to obesity, allergies are possible. Very often, fleas bother dogs. They can carry many dangerous diseases, so you should constantly fight their spread. Worms are no less dangerous for pets. Antiemetic drugs are indicated 3 to 4 times a year. If the dog has parasites, then it may be overly agitated, anxious, lose weight, refuse to eat. Getting vaccinated annually will also prolong the life of the animal. Neglecting this procedure is dangerous, not only for the pet, but also for humans. Quite often, representatives of this breed develop eye diseases, but this mainly occurs with improper or irregular care. Despite the unpretentiousness of the Moscow Watchdog, hygiene is very important, like for any other pets. To avoid the development of joint diseases, it is advisable to take special food supplements as a preventive measure. If the dog lives in favorable conditions, then it has a well-groomed appearance, active and cheerful. If you suspect any pathology, or if your pet has unusual behavior, you should definitely consult with your veterinarian so as not to miss the development of the disease. Moscow Watchdog. Price and how to buy correctly. A puppy of a Moscow Watchdog who has documents will cost $500. In nurseries, prices are higher. If the animal starts up simply as a reliable guard or family friend and no documents are needed, then you can purchase a puppy from a private person using a regular advertisement. In this case, the price will be lower, but there will be no guarantees that the baby is healthy, was born from thoroughbred parents. In addition, the puppy may not have the necessary vaccinations, which will have to be spent later. When choosing a puppy, you should pay attention to the following points. The baby should be well groomed and the coat of uniform density without bald spots. It should not have an unpleasant odor from the mouth. The eyes and ears must be clean. If you need a reliable guard, you should choose a cautious, not too playful, distrustful puppy. In the event that a good friend is needed for the household, it is better to opt for an active, playful baby. It is useful to look at the parents of the puppies. As a rule, a cowardly bitch gives birth to cowardly offspring, from which it is very difficult to raise a reliable guard or watchman. This breed has a number of defects that can significantly affect the price of a puppy. Sometimes in young animals there is a misalignment of the jaws, there is an incomplete set of teeth, the eyes can be multicolored or blue, there is no characteristic color for the breed in the form of symmetrical glasses, the kids are too cowardly, too excitable. It should be remembered that a cute puppy, which at first looks more like a clumsy bear cub, will soon become a very large, powerful dog. The Moscow Watchdog, which was originally bred as a watchdog, working breed, has become not only an excellent guard, but also a loyal pet for many families. It surprisingly combines opposites. It is capable of boundless love and devotion to its master, but at the same time has incredible power, aggressiveness and courage in defending its territory.